A new day with a new beginning. Vine entered the classroom with a wide smile on her face, trying her best to move on from her past and focus on the present. She bowed in front of the students and introduced herself. Although no one clapped and some students were just sleeping in the back, she didn't seem to care much and sat on her seat, which was in front of a student who was sleeping. The class went as usual, and the teacher gave Vine extra notes as it's her first day in the school after transfer. The bell rang, so everyone ran to the cafeteria, leaving Vine with utmost curiosity to see the cafeteria herself. She was about to go, but some girls came in her way, and one of them put her leg in her way, so that she fell on the floor after hitting it. Dohana, who is famous in the school for her brutalness and bullying, spoke up to Vine. Can't you see me? How dare you hit my leg? Vine, but you came in my way. How could I see you? Hannah slapped Vine on her face before she could say anything more and screamed in her loudest voice possible. How dare you talk back to me? The loud scream made the bad boy who was sitting behind Vine wake up. He looked at them, but Vine's back was facing him, so he couldn't see her face. Everyone feared him in the school. One talk of him can change the rule of the school, as every student follows him instead of the teachers. He was irritated by their voices, so he spoke up. Can't you all let me have some sleep? Take this somewhere else. I'm tired. Hannah, who had a crush on him and keeps making moves on him, but he doesn't care less. She listened to him and snatched Vine's hairs to take her somewhere else, but she screamed, Why are you doing this to me? Please let me go. Jungkook, who was about to sleep again, heard her voice and immediately noticed that this voice isn't familiar at all. Before they could go, he said to them, Wait, turn her around. Let me see her face. Hannah turned her around, while she still had her hair snatched. Vine looked at him and kept saying, Please save me, please, help me. Jungkook looked in her eyes and kept looking for a minute before shrugging off his thoughts as he said, I don't care. Stay here, but don't make it loud. He didn't help her, but kept trying to ignore her, as that's what he does, never meddling in anyone's affairs. But he couldn't sleep at all, with all this going on in front of him. Finally, Hannah's brother came to meet her, but she told him that the girl Vine doesn't listen to her at all. Hannah, she needs to be taught a lesson. Hey, listen to her, or you will be killed by me, her brother said to Vine, but Vine didn't even change her expression. He was about to punch her, but someone stopped it. That was enough, Jungkook said, looking in his eyes with his dark, empty eyes. Why are you siding with her, huh? Is she your girlfriend or something? Hannah's brother was agitated, so he asked Jungkook, but Jungkook punched him. Jungkook, you won't let me sleep. That's the only reason. I told you to keep it quiet, he said and moved towards his seat to sleep again. Hannah and her brother left from there, as no one dared to speak against him. Vine looked at him and wanted to thank him. She went to his seat and tried to speak a little. Uh, thank you. You saved whatever. Don't ruin my sleep, Jungkook said while moaning, trying to show her that he doesn't care. But all he thought about the whole day was her. He couldn't even sleep with her in his mind. She went away, thinking to herself, You seem to love sleep more than anything else. The rest of the day went as usual. But the next day, Jungkook sees her in the garden, playing with some birds, and laughing with her heart. That's her true self, he said while smiling, without realizing that he smiled after seeing someone happy, which is the rarest thing. He was admiring her from afar. That Hannah, with her friends, came to surround her again. The beautiful scene in front of him disappeared when he saw her smile went away. Hannah took the bird from her hand. What are you, 8 years old? Who plays with that nowadays? She scoffed while trying to kill the birds, for which one screamed, no, please, don't kill it. It's very close to my heart. Hannah, really? That's another reason to kill it. She was going to twist its neck. That Jungkook held her hand forcefully. She said, it's closer to her. Give it back, he said in his calm voice. Hannah, what's with you? Why do you keep saving that bitch? Jungkook heard this and twisted her hand with full force and said to her, you're the only bitch here. Now return that bird. Hannah groaned in pain and immediately handed the bird to Jungkook, leaving away from there after sighing in despair. Jungkook handed the bird to Wine with great care, and they looked in each other's eyes. Take care of it if it's close to your heart. That's what I'm doing. Why do you keep getting in trouble? Jungkook asked her while still looking in her eyes, but this time with love. Wine. I'm sorry. Thanks for saving me again. Stop thanking me already. Take care of yourself. He was about to go after saying this, but he saw her smiling again, which made him stop. He wanted to keep looking at her forever. Wine. You don't know how grateful I am to you for saving this bird. You have all my respect. Don't smile like that. I can't control it anymore, he said and started pegging her lips, for which he was stunned and didn't know what to do. So she closed her eyes and stood still. He immediately went away from there after breaking the kiss, while her eyes were still closed. She opened them and couldn't see him anywhere. She smiled a little after touching her lips and freed the bird in her hand. She saw it flying away with freedom, and suddenly she felt the same as the bird. He was sitting in his class, thinking about earlier that he saw her coming through the windows, so he immediately put his head on the desk and pretended to sleep, as he couldn't face her after what happened. She sat one seat ahead of him and couldn't stop blushing. When he noticed that she sat on her chair, he raised his head and kept looking at her from different angles. How can someone smile so beautifully? He wondered to himself while watching her hairs from behind. Rest of the day went as usual, except one thing, that she kept blushing the whole day. The whole freaking day, without stopping for a second. She kept thinking about him even when she was home, and kept regretting that why did she just stood still without kissing him back. Even when she wants to kiss him, whenever she sees him, she gets shy, so much that she can't stop it. Next day, she sees him in front of the lockers and tried to run away again. He came in front of her, blocking her way, and said, why do you keep running from me when you feel the same? Wine. Same? How do you know? You silly. Anyone could tell after looking at your tomato red face. I don't even have to look in your eyes to tell that, Jungkook said. She couldn't speak anything again, as she was an introvert. Okay, don't say anything, but don't regret this too. You asked for it yourself, Jungkook said when he lost his patience, and dropping his bag on the ground, he crashed his lips upon hers. He pressed his lips against hers, and she also finally dropped her shyness to kiss him back. He smiled in his heart a little and kissed her with passion this time, as he held her waist, pulling it closer to him. She enjoyed every moment of it and knew that he was the only right man for her. She moved her hands across his neck that they went towards his chest. They even forgot that they were in school. After a minute or two, Jungkook took heavy breaths and laughed while looking at her face. What's with that face? Are you still shy? Wine. I can't believe I did this to someone. Jungkook. Oh, so that was your can't believe it face? Couldn't read it at all. She laughed so loudly after hearing this, and he admired every bit of it. At that moment, he wanted to protect that smile forever. He hugged her with one hand of his, providing her all of his warmth. That smile is so precious. Why would you lose it over shitty people? I'll protect it forever. She smiled and held his back from both of her hands, trying to hug him. Thank you. That was all she could say. Jungkook scoffed. You're too much of an introvert. Let's go. We'll fix it together. She couldn't stop blushing, and her cheeks were about to burst out when he held her hand and walked with her. She never knew someone would love her for the way she is, and especially someone like Jungkook. She knew that if she didn't do it now, she would never be able to do it again, as Jungkook is the only one she feels safe around. Fine. Wait, I I like you so really much. Please date me. I'll try to improve myself, I promise. Jungkook smiled on her cuteness, as although she tried to be professional, but she wasn't that at all. He laughed when he said, Why would you change yourself? This right here is the one I like. I want to keep seeing you laugh, just like you do, when you're happy, actually happy. You keep smiling, and I'll keep protecting it. That's all I want for us, he said and started walking with her, putting his fingers in hers, whereas Vine was about to die from blushing this much.